All right. This is the 2014 Dallas Comic and Pop Expo, and I am here with a guy whose work I truly admire. No joke. Whether you know him as Bo Duke, Jonathan Kent, or a myriad of other roles that he's done in his career, it is a great pleasure to talk to him, Mr. John Schneider. How are you enjoying the show so far?
It's good. It's good. I think it could be a little more crowded. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But, it's a great show. I wandered around. I looked at the different booths and things. The artwork here is incredible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's very nice.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the crowd. There's a Joker over there. There was a Stormtrooper wandered. There's Wonder Woman behind you. So it's cool to see all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Power Ranger behind. A couple Power Rangers behind me.
Yeah, I got to speak to Mr. Yost and that's David Yost for you guys who are listening to this, and Walter Jones as well. So yeah, it's been a great trip so far. How long have you been on the convention circuit?
I'm not really on the circuit. I just came here to help out with this because I know this is the first Dallas Comic and Pop Expo. So I wanted to help out a little bit and see how it would go.
I thought I'd seen your name on a couple of other lists at times.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I'm on the circuit. I've done I do maybe 5 a year.
Oh, okay.
Circuit would be like maybe 50 a year.
Oh, okay.
I used to do,
right.
well, that's too many. 30 a year in the old days.
Oh, okay.
That's when World of Wheels was king and did a lot of that.
Okay, all right. Well, for newcomers to your career, would you be willing to give just a very brief synopsis of, how you got into acting and, just,
blow the dust off.
And just, I don't know, just a couple of, quick moments that, you would want newcomers to know about who aren't too familiar with you.
Wow. Well, if you're not too familiar with me, you're probably not very interested in what I have to say, number one. I'm from New York. I started doing theater when I was 8 years old, 1968.
Yeah.
And did every bit of theater I could in school and middle school and summer theater and summer stock and all that kind of stuff until the opportunity came around to audition for the Dukes of Hazzard in 1978. Yeah. Then Dukes of Hazzard came out and was a huge success, averaged like 29 share for 7 years, which roughly means 29 million people a week watched the show.
Wow.
That was a 3-network world, so it was a different world. Went on, did a couple other shows, did Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and then a lot of music, did a lot of country music, a lot of pop music.
I've heard that you've done quite a few CDs.
Yeah. 14 albums, I think, is the... Albums are what music used to be played on. And then, in I think it was 2001, started Smallville. Jonathan Kent on Smallville.
Can you give a little bit about, were you approached by the WB? What was then the WB? Al Goff and Miles Millar. Who approached you for that?
Yeah, it was Alan Miles. Wanted to see me come in. They were big fans of Dukes of Hazzard, so they wanted to have a meeting. And the first thing I did when I walked in, because I read the pilot, first thing I did when I heard about it was I said I'm not interested because I didn't think the world needed another look into the Superman legend. But when I read the pilot, it was incredible. Yeah. So I went in and met with them and told them how much I liked it, but that there's a vast difference between people who have young children and people who have teenagers, and if they're interested in someone who is going to kowtow over their teenage son like he was a 4-year-old, they should hire somebody else.
Yeah.
And they liked that, apparently, being reprimanded by the guy that came in, and I was Jonathan Kent for 10 years, because they referenced me a lot after I passed away, and then was quite visible in the 10th season, and I loved it. Great. It was great.
Would you be willing to go into the circumstances, why, you left in season 5? Was it your decision? Was it theirs? Was it, mutual thing?
They have no vote in the decision-making process. Actors are pawns that are moved around a set. Aww. So no one asked me anything. They just told me I was dying.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Well, it is a classic trope of the Superman mythos. Glenn Ford, had the heart attack in, the 1978 film. And
yeah, but they killed Jimmy Olsen, so come on.
Yeah.
You cannot argue that Miles and Al stuck to any sort of the
Yeah,
Superman
yeah.
history.
They went all
and
over
that's
the place.
why they killed Jonathan Kent.
Yeah.
I don't know why they killed Jonathan Kent. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode. But personally, I think, well, obviously the show lasted a lot longer.
Yeah.
It lasted another 5 years. But
if you don't mind, could you explain the differences between working with Cynthia Ettinger, the original Martha Kent, versus Annette O'Toole?
wow.
I have done my research, sir.
You have. Wow. Cynthia did the pilot. And Cynthia was I think, really what Miles and Al were going for to begin with. She was blonde. She was very. She looked like a farm girl.
Yeah.
Okay. She was more apt to be swayed by what was going on when we realized that our son had this. Had special needs, which is really how we approached raising Clark Kent. We didn't know he was Superman because he wasn't. He was just a kid that had some very strange abilities or disabilities, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I think the difference, and I don't believe it was Miles and Al's call. I think it was Warner Brothers' call. That they wanted someone who would be more of a. This is my opinion. This has nothing to do with anything I've heard from anyone, but more of a pillar in the household that would be unswayed, so that Jonathan could be more emotional at times, getting upset with different things that were happening. How they were affecting the farm, not how they were affecting Clark. So I think the difference mainly was that Annette was more of a force in a situation rather than someone who could be swayed by the situation.
That's pretty good. One of my personal favorite episodes early on that had a really good Jonathan moment in it was the 4th episode of the series titled Cool, which dealt with a young man falling into Crater Lake and becoming a kryptonite freak as a result of it. Right. And there's a scene, yes, and there's a scene between Jonathan and Martha where he is repairing motorcycle parts on the kitchen table, and she heckles him about it.
Right. Well, it's a real relationship.
Yeah.
It's a real relationship. The light is better in there.
Yeah. I love it. I love the line too, because I think your line was, if I didn't do this in the house, you'd never have any reason to be mad at me.
There you go. I probably made that up. I bet I did.
Get it.
1 second. Let me take care of this young lady.
All right. I'll pause this, and we'll be back in just one moment.
Yes, miss.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time because this is a fairly busy event for you.
There's a new show, by the way.
Really? All right. Well, if you would like to discuss it, that'd be great.
It's a huge hit. It's called The Haves and Have-Nots. It's written and directed by Tyler Perry. It's on the Oprah Winfrey Network every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central. The hope was that maybe one day we'd get a 3 share, which is about 3 million people. And we blasted through that already this year, and we're well on our way to a 4 share, which is very exciting. Highest ratings of anything ever on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Very, very high ratings for any show on cable. So it's a terrific opportunity for me. I play a terribly nasty, mean guy, and I love it. I love every minute of it.
Everyone loves a villain.
Everyone loves a villain, especially the villain.
Well, how about 2 last questions?
Sure, and then send people to my blog.
Absolutely.
TheJohnSchneider.com. TheJohnSchneider.com.
As if there were any other.
Well, there is, and he tried to sell me my own domain, and I said no.
Well, let's see. All right. Very briefly, would you be willing to talk about the movie that you did called October Baby? My sister had asked me to, speak to you about that.
Sure, I love October Baby. It's a wonderful film that was inexpensive, written and directed by the Irwin brothers, that managed to garner a huge, wide audience of people of faith, people not of faith, people on one side of the abortion issue, people on the other side of the abortion issue, people who had never given it any thought, and managed to do very, very well in the box office, which is kind of unheard of. We came out the same night as Hunger Games, and we were the third, as on a per-screen basis, we were the third highest movie that weekend. Hunger Games, 21 Jump Street, and us.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. In today's movie culture, that is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Yeah. So it's a great movie. You can get it on Redbox. I think you can rent it at Netflix. I think you can see it at Netflix. I know it's on Redbox. It's a terrific movie that will make you think.
All right. And let's see. This is my first long-form celebrity interview. So let's see. One last question. Trying to think. There's so much to talk about, though. I wish we had more time, but maybe another time, I suppose, if you ever come back to the circuit, if you ever come back to the shows. Do you still...
Let's talk about my movie that's coming out.
Oh, really? Okay, I was not aware of that. If you'd like to share some details, that'd be great.
You're going to like it. I don't think you'll appreciate the language. It's called Smothered.
Okay.
And it's a horror comedy.
Oh.
And it's these guys again. We were talking about it earlier. It stars Kane Hodder, who was Jason.
Yeah, Jason Voorhees. Yeah.
R.A. Mihailoff, who was Leatherface. Don Shanks, who was Michael Myers. Bill Moseley, who's Chop Top and House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes.
Michael Berryman also played the character of the Skull Cowboy in the unused scenes from The Crow.
There you go. There you go. And also Bria Grant, who was in Rob Zombie's Halloween. So a lot, and Christine the Car, and Malcolm Danar from Christine.
Wow. So you're really enjoying this, being the villain for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'm not in it. I wrote and directed it.
Oh, all right. See, this is new to me because I haven't heard of it yet. So
you see it if you go to my website, thejohnschneider.com. Click on All Things Smothered. You'll see the trailer in there.
Okay.
And it's pretty darn good. It's very funny, but it is a horror film. But it's not a spoof.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very, very much for your time.
You are very welcome. You have a wonderful day.